Nevada, in a place called Pahrump, Nevada, like Pahrump-a-Pump-Pump, Nevada. And this is what we've been doing for quite some time. I'm a Jewish believer who came to know Yeshua, not via church or anything. I came to know him by reading the Tanakh and just wanting to know why we're not supposed to believe in Jesus. And I thought it would say why. In the Old Testament, I thought maybe I'd find out why, because we're not supposed to believe in him, but why aren't we? So I started from the first page of Breshit in Genesis and just read right through. And you know, there were some interesting things in the Tanakh that I didn't know about, but many scriptures began to speak to my heart, especially Isaiah 53. And by the time I finished the last page, the book of Malachi, I just knew that there was no doubt that he was in fact the Messiah. And hallelujah. But what's so cool about it is that two things. First of all, I didn't like being Jewish anymore. I think I experienced some anti-Semitism as a child growing up, and I just didn't like being Jewish. It did nothing for me. My parents had passed away. The holidays for me were really about what kind of food we're going to eat or not eat, and being with the family. And so that's an interesting thing. You know, I think I was ashamed, you know. And so anyways, I came to believe that Jesus was the Messiah, but this is what's so cool. It happened to be on Rosh Hashanah, on Feast of Trumpets, and on that day. And I just, you know, I got down on my knees and I said, you know, God, I believe that Jesus is the Messiah. Come into my heart. And I found it a little bit interesting that it happened to be that special appointed time. But I just thought, great, I'm a Christian now and I can take this old person off. And so I called a friend who used to be Jewish, so I thought, and became Christian years ago. And I called her because I wanted her to tell me where I should go to church that day. I was very zealous. And so I called her up, and, you know, to be polite, you say Happy Rosh Hashanah. I said, hello, this is Mindy, Happy Rosh Hashanah. I believe that Jesus is the Messiah. What do I do? And she said, she shocked me. She said, well, I'm going to Rosh Hashanah services. Would you like to go? And I was like, at first I was like, oh my goodness, that means I'm still Jewish. That's A. And B, oh, you can be Jewish and believe in Jesus. And so that was my very first day. It was, it'll be 20 years ago this Rosh Hashanah. I walked into my very first Messianic synagogue, and, you know, something miraculous happened. Celebrating, first of all, there was people of every nation there. That was A. And B, there was a lot of liturgy on the wall that looked familiar in Hebrew, but it said Yeshua, Yeshua. I said, who is Yeshua? And I was told that that was Jesus' Hebrew name, but it means salvation. And I thought, wow, that's really awesome. And celebrating that first Yom Teruah with Yeshua as the center, it was so exciting. It was like what was missing from before. And so going through that first series of fall feasts with Yeshua, it was, as it says in the Brit Hadashah when I started reading it, it was like life from the dead. And, you know, I didn't have to unlearn things having come through a church. I just went right into, you know, accepting the fullness of who Messiah Yeshua was. And I immediately had a burden for the larger body of Messiah, for those people who knew Jesus but don't have the other part of the realization of who the Jewish Messiah is. And so not only for my burden for my Jewish brethren who don't know their Messiah yet, but also for the larger body. So it's been a really exciting time. It's been a really exciting time, you know, and I came to realize, you know, when I first walked in that day, there was a greeter at the door. Not that I would know the difference because I'd never been to a church or what a greeter was, but she was very friendly and she was saying hello and, hi, I'm Debbie, what's your name? And I'm like, Mindy. And she said, well, do you believe that Jesus is, or, you know, I don't know what she said, but I was like, yeah, I think I believe that. And I said, she had Mogen David on. I said, are you Jewish? And she said, no, but I love my Jewish Messiah. And it almost knocked me over. I'd never met somebody who wasn't Jewish who had a love for the Messiah in that way. And what I realized is that, you know, the enemy is so insidious. You know, there's so much anti-Semitism from the get-go, you know. And, you know, I pretty much hated myself as a Jew. And so it's not a wonder that the enemy can seep his way into so many with anti-Semitism. So we're really happy to be here. Dance is a whole other story. And we're here just to do worship through dance. And you have a wonderful ministry. You have a beautiful ministry going on here and beautiful worship ministry. So I'm just going to kind of, you know, just maybe add a little tidbit. You are well on your way to just a very full, beautiful fullness of worship here. So I thought we'd do a couple, and then how many people have danced here before? Okay, some have not danced before? Okay. All right. Well, I thought we'd start off, we'll go with some nice, easy ones. And I just want you to know that I make a lot of mistakes, okay? So what I do is I just smile. Okay, so if you make mistakes, you're in really good company, alrighty? Okay, so I'm going to put this down because I don't want to trip over the cord.